If we want to stop authoritarianism, fascism in the United States, there are a few steps we must take. Here they are. Check it out. Leave your comments, ding the bell, share it with your friends, and subscribe to our channel. So I kind of laid out, I think in the last segment, I laid out the problem that we're facing, which is that, you know, there's always an authoritarian element in every society. But during times of stress, the people who lean authoritarian or whose inner authoritarian followerness gets activated come out of the woodwork and start behaving like authoritarians. And that's what we're seeing right now. And we're seeing this in particular. Now, there's a series of crises, right? From the point of view of racist white people, which is, you know, probably half the white population in America, just having black people marching through the streets of American cities week after week in the Black Lives Matter protests in the wake of the murder of George Floyd and others, and Breonna Taylor and others, was enough to cause them, some of them, to say, oh, wait a minute, we need a strong hand here. We saw this back in the 70s when cities were burning, and Richard Nixon was using that. You know, his whole law and order thing was basically, you know, we're going to get the black people under control here. That was Nixon's pitch. And it worked. It brought out the authoritarian white people on racial issues. So you've got that. And then you've got COVID on top of that. And then you've got foreign governments churning our social media with bot accounts, you know, promoting fascism and trashing the idea of democracy. And then you've got Republicans who desperately want to become president, who are willing to say and do anything to get there. And people who want to hold on to Republicans who want to hold on to political power and also want to keep the money train from the right-wing billionaires going. And so it's like a perfect storm. So what do? How do we deal with this explosion of authoritarianism in the United States? Here are the steps that I believe are absolutely necessary. Number one, we need to hold lawbreakers, authoritarian lawbreakers, to account with swift and certain justice. The people who invaded the Capitol. You know, I was ranting about this. I don't recall if it was yesterday or last Friday, but or Monday. But this article in the Washington Post suggesting that the Justice Department and the federal courts just can't handle all these hundreds of cases. Maybe we should just let some of these people slide. No. And in fact, you know, I recommend that everybody go over to FBI.gov. The FBI has literally hundreds, maybe over 1,000 pictures on their website of people they are trying to identify. People who participated in the murder of 5 people, including a police officer, and the attempted murder of Vice President Mike Pence and Speaker Nancy Pelosi, among others. So number one, nail those people. Number two, the thought leaders in our country, the columnists in our newspapers, the commentators on television, they have to come out and just unequivocally, and particularly those, and you know, God bless people like Steve Schmidt, right, who has left the Republican Party, the guy who ran John McCain's campaign, for just coming right out and saying what you're seeing in the Republican Party right now is fascism. It's naked fascism. And it's being encouraged by people like Ted Cruz and Josh Hawley. So that's number two. Number three, our press is not doing a good job of calling out what's going on and highlighting the differences between what an authoritarian strongman government looks like and what an actual democratic republic looks like. Our press is, you know, the news side of the press says, well, we'll just leave that to the opinion people, the op-ed people. And the op-ed side of the press, the editorial side of the press says, well, you know, when there's news, it'll come. And the bottom line is that this huge contrast between what a democracy is and how it works and what a fascist strongman oligarchy is and how it works, that contrast is not being made. That's why I wrote this book that's coming out next week, The Hidden History of American Oligarchy, was to make that case. And we all need to be talking not about the book, but about that case. Next, Republicans have to drop their voter fraud big lie. I realize it's one of the ways that they hold power, but it is tearing this country apart. A lot of these people who stormed the Capitol actually believe Donald Trump won the majority of the vote and it was stolen from him by Joe Biden. Republicans have to clean that up. And finally, and perhaps most importantly, Mark Pocan talked about this several times during our interview earlier, Congress and the Biden administration have to make America work again. We've got to get the pandemic under control. We've got to get money into people's hands. We've got to solve this problem of 1 in 7 American families going to bed every night without enough food, for God's sake. We've got to put people back to work. We've got to restore American integrity. If we can't make America work, more and more people are going to say, well, hey, democracy doesn't work. I'll take the strong man. Ted Cruz says he can fix everything. Josh Hawley says he can. Tom Cotton says he knows the answers. I'll listen to them.